What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RC's Gateway to Comics. Today we are going to be talking about the new way of selling comics. Now, this is from a slightly outsider perspective because I have not personally sold any comics yet, but it is something that I want to do in the future. This is solely my observation of how the market has changed from even just several years ago to now. And we can even go back to like the 90s and stuff like that. But the main shift seemed to occur a couple years ago. Now, the best way to start off with this is what I would say is the old method of selling comics. So, start off at the top. You would have the comic companies, say like Marvel, DC, Image, pretty much any comic company. And they would create a book. They have their writers, their artists, their creators make up a comic book, and that comic book would then be sold to the distributor. Now, that would pretty much be something like Diamond, or you know what? Diamond's the only place that I can actually think of at the moment. They would then sell the comics to the comic stores. And Diamond would be like the middleman between the comic stores and the comic companies. And then the comic stores would then sell the comic books to you, the customer. Now, this method of selling comics has seemingly taken a drop in recent years. And a lot of comic creators are now moving to a new method of selling and marketing their comics. So instead of the comic companies and the distributors and the comic stores, they are now going with the more direct approach of instead selling directly to the customers. Now, this could be doing something through their social media channels, selling on their Twitters, their own online sites, or it could be something closer to crowdfunding. And you'll see a lot of successful creators on places like Indiegogo, Kickstarter. I know that there are some successful creators who are currently funding on Fund My Comic, which is a newer site, but it's still up and coming. But they're completely disregarding the old method of selling their comics because this is a way that they are able to keep more of the money that they are getting for their books. And they're able, hopefully, to reinvest that money to make an even better product. So, if you take a look at this change, you'll notice that the difference between the monthly comics that the comic companies put out and the crowdfunded comics is vastly different. Now, granted, the crowdfunded comics, the new method of selling comics, is more time intensive, and it does have more limitations on it because they are sometimes bigger books. There is other stuff that comes along with it, but the presentation of the comics themselves is vastly superior to the monthly comics that are being put out by the big two, big three, however many there are now. Now, another thing that you would see coming about because of this change in how these comics are sold and marketed is you'll see that the companies that are still sticking to the old method are now doing stuff like adding a crap ton of variant covers to try and make the comic stores order more of these comics that aren't selling in order to get this, say, for example, a variant cover by J. Scott Campbell. And you'll get maybe one variant cover for every 50 of the regular cover that you order from the comic company or from Marvel or DC or wherever. And these stores know that J. Scott Campbell stuff really sells because he's a very popular artist with a very recognizable and attractive art style. So they'll buy however many books they need to get more of that variant cover. And all of the regular covers will just sit and collect dust because the actual book is not really good. And it's just a monthly, maybe like 20, 22, 24 page story that people really don't really care about. But then you have the new stuff then you have stuff that's being put out with the new method. You have 48 page comics that are being put out that have maybe a longer story attached to them. And there's maybe one per year that also come with trading cards, posters, foil covers, custom head sketches, figurines, stuff like that. Like all the stretch goals that these crowd-funded comics have reached would all be coming with this comic that was ordered by the customer directly. It's, at least to me, much more of an appealing package, and you don't have to worry about having all the middlemen, so to speak. So, if I was to put out a comic nowadays, then I would be much more likely to use the new method of trying to sell my comic. I would be selling my comic or even a story to you guys. It's one of the reasons why I self-published my fiction stories, the Red Sky series. Looking into the publishing aspect and going with like an actual publisher, it seemed like it would be very much in the same realm as the old method of selling comics. You would pitch your book to a publishing house, and unless you were a big name, then you wouldn't really have much push for the company to market your book. Instead, you would have to do it yourself. And if I'm going to be expected to do that, then I might as well just sell directly to you guys. I would be able to keep more of the profits, and I would be able to reinvest that into the next story that I would be putting out. And there is a next story for my series. There's several next stories for it, but that's further on down the line. It seems very like a very similar situation, and it makes much more sense for the creators and for the customers because there's a direct line of communication between them. If there's a problem with the, like, if there's something that sticks out about the story or the art or anything about the campaign to sell the comic or the book or anything like that, then the customer can let you know, and you can make the necessary changes if need be to make sure that that product is the best product that it can be. You don't have to worry about having the customer go to the company, and then the company may be telling you about what the customer said, and then going through all of the various different channels where you would need to be getting the approval to make the changes and blah, 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 blah. Direct methods are so much easier, so much better. And it helps with making the process simpler, and also it brings out what I think is a better product. The creators that can sell themselves and sell their products are the ones that I think will be around for a very long time. And those creators that can't sell that, you see that old method of selling? They'll be going the same direction as that method is going right now. Away. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on the old method of selling comics versus the new method of selling comics? Do you agree that the new method is helping to create better products, or do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe so that we can continue to put out more videos just like this. Also, if you would, please go and check out my fiction books. The Red Sky series is about Captain Riggs, a pirate who is sailing with the crew of the Red Sky to try to become the most notorious pirate to sail the seas. Both him and the crew fight against the English Navy and also battle against magical beings in their quest. All the while, Riggs tries to win the heart of Julia Hammond, the daughter of an English Commodore. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.